Clay Per View. Watch Speedway live or on demand. And SRV Road Freight Services. Excellence in Motion. Bring you Speedway Nation with Jared Ash and Ryan Harris. Right across the SEN network.
Welcome back to Speedway Nation, live around the SEN network, brought to you by the wonderful team at SRV Road Freight Services, and I reckon they're pretty happy right about now. Excellence in Motion, thanks to SRV Road Freight Services. Ryan Harris, January in the books, done, dusted.
Time for rest, mate.
Everyone take a deep breath. There's no rest in February in the Speedway world, but take a nice deep breath. It's been a big January, Ryan Harris.
It has. How many nights did you do? I don't know, 20 or something, January.
Since Boxing Night, it was 27 or something like that out of 36 days or something stupid like that. So plenty of Speedway, plenty to recap. And we can't look at every single race, Manning.
Correct.
So I figured to start this week's episode of Speedway Nation off, we could look at some of the things that our sport did right and some of the things we did wrong over January. It's always nice to have a little reflection on where we've been and where we've come from and all that sort of thing. And hey, look, there was a lot of big positives to come out of that late December, January period. Record crowds around the countryside.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Every single photo from all these major events, from be it Avalon, Perth Motorplex, be it up at Toowoomba, Mount Gambier, it doesn't matter where. There was record crowds everywhere. The sport's in a pretty healthy place from a live event perspective.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's not even, like you've mentioned some big ticket places there, but you see some photos across January from regional places. I know, like Gilgandra on the weekend had a big crowd for, Sportsman V8 Dirt Modified title.
Yeah.
At little old Gilgandra, which is a little speck on the radar, but a cool little place on the way through down the highway, the Newell. And it's just people everywhere. So there's a really good feel about the sport. And we know that's sort of been momentum growing with a lot of good things going on. Live sport, it does tell a really good story. It is a short, compact sort of show that gets to an end or crescendo, if we use a music term, Jared, at the end, at the end of the night. So, there's a buzz. There's a buzz, and it's really cool. Places have been packed, really cool entertainment, really cool vibe meters. We touched on a little bit of vibe meter stuff at Kingaroy on the weekend, but there really is. It's a really good feel at a lot of events, and there's some wonderful commentary teams around that are taking on us cool journeys at a lot of these events.
And to I guess, continue off that path and bounce off that, not just the live events or the live crowds at these events have been growing, it's the coverage in Speed Cafe. So they've got a great relationship with Speedway Australia, and that's bridging forwards. And it's wonderful to see that probably the most recognised online journalism publication in the country has got a little place for Speedway now, and that's growing that. So that's exciting. We've obviously seen the coverage from 7 Plus, all the rave reviews about that. The coverage from Clay Per View has gone to next level. A lot of these places, that investment paying off, and people just loving getting about the sport. Record numbers watching on 7 Plus, record numbers watching on Clay Per View, record numbers on social media. Like the Clay Per View social media channels and the 7 Sport Facebook page, across those, there has been millions of views on social clips across the two. That's not pulling anyone's chain or anything. Across Clay Per View over the month of January, millions of views. Add in the 7 Sport stuff, which is exciting as well. It's in a good place. We've just got to continue to capitalise on this now, Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a place for everything to work harmoniously together. So it is pretty exciting, and I love what's going on, especially as a track operator. But, there's a perception change. There's a genuine perception change in the general public as more people see how exciting and cool the sport is. People are like, hey, that's not redneck sort of carry on like it used to be. Yeah. This is genuine entertainment. And I think there's a bit of a culture shift as well with the competitors. They sort of realise, probably 10 years ago, there was a real, no, it's about us facilitating a hobby for our drivers at our sport, at a venue, which sort of meant they are definitely the stars of the show, but it's like, no, well, I've got my full complement of laps because I've come here to race.
Yeah, I've paid my money to come
sport.
and race. This is my thing.
But I think, there's a shift to the entertainment side, and I really believe that a lot of competitor groups and a lot of competitors are really starting to understand that, we're stars of the show here and we are in the entertainment industry, and the people are coming through the gate to be entertained, not to sit, through really long programs, which will get us to some things we haven't done very well, and some points throughout January.
Yeah, and we'll touch on that in just a moment to build off what you were talking about, Ryan. That increased emphasis on entertainment, increased crowds as a result of that, increased social media exposure that the teams are contributing to. Hey, this is where we're watching this. This is where we're racing this weekend. This week, come watch us live. Come and buy our merchandise. Here's the show we're putting on. They're doing a wonderful job of selling their own sport. And to build off that, Ryan, they're getting an increased cut back with the appearance money, the prize money, all that's gone up around the country. $30,000 to win at Red Hot Summer Shootout, $40,000 to win at Classic, $30,000 to win this weekend, or not this weekend, next weekend coming up at the Perth Motorplex, $10,000 to win every night for Speed Week. All those things are increasing. Minimum guarantees are increasing. All that stuff, the old saying, rising tide lifts all ships, it really does. So the drivers have got on board with that. They've gone, hey, our sport's going somewhere. If we keep pushing this, we're going to go on that same spot.
That's right. And then it goes on to T-shirts, because I know a little bit about T-shirts, right? So the Cush clothing trailer has been absolutely phenomenally busy and never sold as many T-shirts as we've had over summer.
Yep.
And, the drivers are selling more T-shirts, so they're heading up and down the road better because they're selling more and more at every event. It's a snowball effect. And the better they do, the more T-shirts they sell.
To continue down that path as well, economic impact studies, a lot of tracks starting to look at that, starting to get their members of parliament involved, all that sort of thing, to go, hey, this is what we're bringing to your region, yourself.
Yeah.
Darwin's done it very well. Warrnambool have looked at that stuff in the past to go, hey, this is what we bring to our small region. That's when you can go back to local governments or state governments and go, hey, we need some more dollars here to upgrade our facilities or upgrade stuff around these facilities. And again, it's a giant snowball effect, really.
It is. So Red Hot Summer last year, not the one just gone, $1.1 million injection into the Toowoomba local economy off the back of an economic impact study. So we engaged the same company to do that again. That process is carrying out now. That report's not quite ready. But when the mayor and member of parliament and councillors are all at the biggest sprint car events of the year in Toowoomba and all walking around with massive smiles on their face like, holy smokes, this is phenomenal. And I know that's happened in a lot of venues. That's exciting for local tourism, local investment or reinvestment back into these venues. And that's happening everywhere. And that's it's a real, perception change and real shift in how the sport is perceived, which is quite exciting.
It certainly is. To build off that, all this increased prize money, increased exposure, increased prestige in these events, that's all bringing the American drivers back as well. We obviously saw that just cease with international borders being closed a couple of years ago, and it's been a slow build back towards that. But this year, they've just flocked back to Australian shores. I think 12 or 13 different American drivers in the sprint car side of things, a couple of late model drivers, speed car drivers. There's probably been 20 different Americans and Kiwis come over here to Australia this year. That's exciting for fans on the hill.
That's pretty cool.
To build off that sort of stuff, there are things that Speedway as a whole did get wrong. Not every track, not every venue, not every event got wrong, but there were some things that we need to look at and build from the future. And I guess the big thing first and foremost is timing of events.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's always going to be an issue, whether you're balancing just how much you're looking after the competitor in the back gate, you're looking after, hey, we need to get the crowd in and out at a certain time. We've seen days gone by, everyone went, oh, if we get there at 4 o'clock and we run till midnight, we've seen plenty of speedway. That's gone.
Yeah.
We need to roll in at 6 o'clock. We need to be done with the main event at 9:30. You can have your ceremonies until 10. We need a 4-hour show. Don't tell me no one wants to sit there for 6 hours on the hill with kids.
Correct.
I've got small kids. No one wants to be there for 6 hours. It's 2020 cricket. Let's look at that. 3 hours, in and out with the kids, fireworks, excitement, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
You want to go and watch a test match? Cool, that's for the hardcores. You can go and do that. That's okay. But the thing that gets the kids on the hill and involved is short, sharp program. And that's probably where Speedway is really lacking at the moment.
Yeah, and from my perspective, there were some tough decisions had to be made at Toowoomba this season or over, when things go bad, because our sport isn't weatherproof. So weather does intervene and it causes snowballs. Catch fences get ripped down, Jared, which have delays. There are, code 1 emergency delays in crowds that, we're talking about people's life and death.
Correct.
The ambulance need to go and attend to someone to save their life. So these are all the things that, come up. We were lucky. No one even knew that we had a cardiac moment at the Red Hot Summer Shootout on the final night. Boring, right? But there was a second ambulance there, which cost a fortune, which, happened to be there to be able to do that, and the show could go on. But in every state, they can't do that.
Correct.
The state-based ambulance services don't have the resources to be able to tie up two of them at venues. So things like that happen. We're lucky in Queensland that we have. But, yeah, short, sharp show is important. We have to do better. My venue, I have to schedule less because the nomination lists are out of control at the minute. We lost Archerfield. So we're trying to run more and more events, to satisfy the competitors so they don't fall off the cliff like South Australia sort of did. But it's a, balancing act.
The tricky part with that is we've seen that at the Motorplex as well. I talked to the events promotion team over there. They scheduled 4 classes for all of their big shows. And that was when they were getting 20 cars per class. That was about 80 cars. Now they're up to 30 cars per class, and they go from 80 cars a show to 120. They've got to add extra heat races. They've got to add B mains. All of a sudden, your 4-hour show blows out to a 6-hour show.
Correct.
And that's a really tough balancing act to keep the competitors happy. Do we look at a model where we have, hey, these are the all-star, you don't want to brand it differently because it's tricky, but these are the nights we really put all the focus on getting all the crowds there. Here's your one big event. Here's your support class. Then we look at having, hey, here's the night for everyone to come and enjoy their racing, but we don't push this as hard to the public. Is that something that we have to balance out for, I guess, people, that Fast Friday model at the Perth Motorplex? Is that something we have to balance out moving forward?
I think at some venues, and then some of the country venues that, do facilitate the hobby racer, there's nothing wrong with that either. So, some of the smaller tracks that, have strong sort of junior sedan numbers and production sedan numbers and all that kind of stuff, it's fine, perfectly fine for them to facilitate that, smaller crowds and entertain that way, through the competitors doing what they do best. So, you just got to be in your lane and stick to it and do it well. So, but yeah, lots of positives, a few things to tune up over the, reflection that we could do better. But as a sport, holy smokes, it's moving in such a strong direction at the moment, mate.
I'm pretty excited with how things are rolling. On the other side of this break, we're going to catch up with the new Australian Sprint Car Champion. We'll catch up with him just after this. Speedway Nation, thanks to SRV Road Freight Services. We'll be right back.
This is SEN's Speedway Nation for Clay Per-View. Watch Speedway live or on demand. And SRV Road Freight Services, excellence in motion.